to do now is walk you through the syllabus and make sure you understand the expectations and goals of the course. So I already introduced myself and I introduced you to the textbook, and I would say spend some time getting to know the textbook. It has a lot of great resources without even having to access the online component. The chapters are organized, and we're going to actually go directly in order. So we'll be doing, in the course of 8 weeks, we'll be doing 16 chapters, roughly 2 chapters a week. However, there might be some times like around Easter where we move one chapter to the next week or something like that. And as you read, they'll give you little questions and thoughts, things to think about as you're reading through the chapter. But of course, what I like most is at the end, they ask you some questions. So they do a summary, and if you're really stuck on time or you're really stuck on a concept, I encourage you to take a look at the summary. It's called Summarizing the Concepts, and they really, in just a page or two, highlight the most important things for that chapter. They have lists of key terms, and they even give you the page number that they're defined on. So people use these in different ways. You might make flashcards of those. You might just make sure that you understand what those terms mean. And in general, we'll use all of those terms for a particular chapter. If we won't use a section, I'll be sure to let you know. And then it gets into testing your knowledge, and it asks you questions, and some of those questions are answered in the back of the book, and then some are not. So there's some sort of clinical questions, and they do have an appendix. It's Appendix A, where they would help you with some of those answers. If you're ever not sure or you don't understand exactly why that answer is there, please just get in touch with me and I'll try to clarify. So this really is your best resource in terms of materials that you'll need. There is a website that goes along, a companion website, and Connect is the system that we'll use, the platform that we'll use for that. And what's great about that is there are interactive tutorials where you actually have to drag and drop or label or do things that really require you to apply that content. And for Connect, you can use your textbook. You can sit there with the textbook open. I do have some of those as timed assignments, and so you'll have to kind of pay attention to that and make sure that you allow yourself, you've prepared adequately before you would begin. But many of them are unlimited time. You get to work on those however they are for a certain week. So chapter 1 and 2, for example, would be the first week, and you would be asked to do those assignments related to chapters 1 and 2 within the first week. And I do have a cutoff for that. If something happens and you can't get to it, let me know. We'll see if there's a way to work around it. But in general, we'll try to work 2 chapters a week. So what are we going to be doing? What are we going to be covering in human biology? Well, it's a survey course. So we're going to be looking at everything from atoms and molecules, some chemistry, on up to tissues, so things like muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and then putting those together into organs. And that's a theme that you'll see as we move through the first few chapters. So atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, organs. And along the way, we'll fill in a lot of detail. There are 11 different organ systems. Many you're familiar with: the digestive system, the reproductive system, and then maybe some you're not so familiar with, like the immune system. And so each chapter, essentially, once we get to about chapter 4, is devoted to an organ system. I do expect you to be doing your own work in the course. I want you to read and get the information for yourself. Part of this is a requirement for the course, but part of it is we're building your knowledge base, and if you have to go on and take an exam, you need that information. So I encourage you to do your own work. If you're not sure about something, again, get in touch with me and I'll clarify. If you are working with your syllabus, if you'd flip over to the second page, the grading system. Everybody wants to know how I grade. And essentially what we do is we learn the material. We're going to try to use some lab kits to help assist in that learning process. You do have homework. The homework is almost exclusively in Connect. There might be a few assignments outside Connect, but almost exclusively in Connect. And then exams. The exams will be in Blackboard. So without putting points, I'm going to assign, it might be a 20-point homework with chapter 1, it might be a 30-point homework with chapter 2, but overall, it's about 30% of your total grade would be the homework values. Your exams are 50%, so that's really holding the most weight. There is an exam at the end of each chapter, so there'll be 16 exams total, 2 a week, essentially. And then the laboratory component, we're going to have that at 20%. The activities that I'll be asking you to do, I'm going to walk you through each week. Today I'm going to give you a little overview, but each week I'll try to walk you through those activities and make sure you know what you're supposed to be getting. And then there'll be some type of assessment, whether it's labeling or whether it's answering multiple choice questions or writing a short answer in Blackboard. But again, working through Blackboard for those components. In terms of attendance, this is a little different than a face-to-face course. For an online policy, basically you have to complete that week's assignments on time. So chapter 1 and 2 are going to be due the first week, and if you don't get those finished, then I'll be talking to you about why that didn't happen. The resources, I'm your main contact point, but you have a number of other resources. We have a professional tutor, Karen Castagnola, and she has tutored students in this course many times. We have resources for other issues, so if you're worried about something outside of class, we have Marissa Evans in campus counseling and a number of other folks that can help you. Heather Lowe is the academic advising coordinator, and she can help you with big decisions like your major and those sorts of things. And then Christine Anderson is another resource for the online component. If you're struggling with something related to the course, how it's set up, how it's organized, or you're not quite sure what the expectations are, you can also contact her. And I have some of those numbers on the syllabus, but I will make sure that those are available to you in Blackboard as well. The library, I can't stress enough how important the library is. We have a number of resources at the library that would help you. I have an old edition of the textbook there. If you're really struggling with getting that on time, you can go and you can't take it out, you can't check it out, but you can access that and sit and study from that in preparation for the course. And the librarians also can help you. We have a box of skeleton bones, so a disarticulated box of bones there, but it's not going to be important for you because you have your own lab kit and it actually has a skeleton, so you won't have to worry about that. There's also some resources listed, so the textbooks are just other textbooks that might explain a concept in a different way. And then the online resources, I'll be pointing you to those at specific times. Get Body Smart is one that the students in the past have really enjoyed. It has animated quizzes where you get instant feedback and find out if you got the muscle correct or not. And I have about 4 of those on the syllabus. And then at the end, you simply see the course outline in terms of dates. The course begins March 5th and completes by April 27th, so it's fast. 8 weeks, we're going to do 16 chapters, and that means you have to read a lot and keep up, but together we'll get through. And as you look at the schedule, you see roughly 2 chapters a week, but if there's ever a time when we need extra time, we'll just extend a little bit. But I do intend to get through all of those chapters. So we'll work with everything from the respiratory system, the skeleton, the nervous system, all through those 11 organ systems. So now that you've got through the syllabus, the next module will be related to the laboratory kit.